time out of your busy lives to come celebrate my father, support our family during this time. It means a lot to all of us, so thank you. I'd also like to recognize my mother. She's been an absolute rock throughout everything for my father over these years, as I'm sure he would have done for her too. We love you, Mom. Thank you. All right, so a little background. Most of you probably know me, but I'm Jeff. I'm the middle child. When I was a kid, it was pretty common knowledge. I drove my dad crazy. Really crazy. So step forward a few years, now you have me as a teenager. Drove him nuts. And it's probably safe to say that when I went to college, 90 minutes away from my partner in crime cousin in Rochester, those years were probably no picnic for him. In fact, it might be best that I'm talking about him today, because if it was in the other direction, I'm not sure his stories would flatter me that much. On the flip side, it's actually very easy for me to flatter him. If you Google the word Satan, the informal version is a very virtuous or patient person. So using that definition, it's taken me some time to realize it. But basically, my father was my own version of Satan. Like I said, I wasn't always the easiest kid. My dad was still always there by my side. Informally, I would just tell you that my dad was the man. 3-sport athlete in high school, co-captain of the football team, played offense and defense. In his senior year, DeSales enjoyed one of its few wins in the long-time series against its cross-street rivals, Geneva High. He went to Ithaca, just picked up club lacrosse. He was a classic dad. He could fix stuff. He could teach you stuff. He could beat you in stuff. And sometimes, if he was in a good mood, he'd let you beat him in stuff. He had a morning paper route in high school. Apparently one day he was stopped in his rounds by the Geneva Police Department. It seemed that someone had stolen money from the empty milk bottles left out at a house for the milkman's delivery that day for the household. He was questioned, and eventually allowed on his way. But as his brother Mark said, "Come on, Billy, please." Another story that Mark recalled: after completing his Little League career at age 12, my dad was ready to advance to Babe Ruth. That meant metal spikes. So my dad offered his used rubber spikes to his younger brother, who was still in Little League. Of course, my dad offered to sell the spikes, not give them. To this day, Mark sheepishly grins. He paid him. In no specific order, my dad was captain of the Army, a Cub Scout leader, canoe and kayak instructor. He competed in road races and triathlons with his kids. In one of my longer races, Dad was 66 years old. He paced me the last 8 miles of my race at 4 o'clock in the morning just so we could be at the finish line with him. 3 favorite things in life: probably my mother, his grandkids, dessert. Love dessert. I think by the time recently I probably made his top 10. It was the little things with Dad. He was always there for us, always giving. The love and guidance he gave us as we grew, and for all the love and life lessons that he taught us as children. One of my favorite stories: Dad was a smart guy. I picked up basketball a little late in life. Early in high school, and we would practice. We'd play some one-on-one in the yard. He'd usually let me get close when we played one-on-one. But when needed, he did a long jumper, pump fake, get to the basket, and score. Somewhere around my sophomore year, I started to get it together, and I was actually challenging. So we're out there one time. You played at 21, it's 19 to 19. 20 to 19, we're just going back and forth. I swear I have. It's 24 all, and then one move, boom, basket, step back jumper, game The funny part is he leans over, pats me on the back, and he hands me the ball, and he says, I retire undefeated. Retired, dude? What are you talking about? Yeah, never played me again, 35 years. You retired undefeated. So, running is something that we all shared with my dad. He didn't pick up running until his 20s or so. But to take care of himself, he ran almost every morning. Gene shared a funny story. Apparently, early in his career, during one of his first races, he's in the middle of the pack, and he sees a pair of socks laying on the side of the road. He shook his head, curiously, humbly thought to himself, man, I'm behind all these people. They've got time to change their socks in the middle of the race. Well, he later learned that runners actually, on chilly days, use socks for mittens and just discard. Those people change. Every morning when I woke up, my dad would be finishing his run, stretching on the living room carpet. I always thought he was trying to be a better runner, but in fact, it's one of those quiet, simple lessons in discipline, hard work. These days when I stretch, I often think of him. My dad taught us the joys of camping. My mom, who did not have any experience camping, had a little story. Dad dropped us off at a spot in the outskirts of Geneva when we were kids. He set up the tent, helped us unpack before heading off to work. That's when the rain set in. Downpour. 3 kids. Pouring rain, leaky tent, and no food. As my mom said, it's kind of funny she ever did that again. But we did. In fact, many of our favorite childhood memories involve being outdoors or around a campfire. It's something that I went on to share with my own family. I love that my mom and dad created those memories for us. I wrote him a quick note a while back to thank him as best I could for all the many things he did with me, for me. Just going to recap a few of them here. I said, thanks, Dad, for always being there. Thank you for teaching me how to be a great father. Thank you for teaching me how to be a loving and a supportive husband. Thank you for showing me how to be a caring and understanding parent. Thank you for being the best grandfather who loved his grandkids. Thank you for playing catch with me, coming to all my Little League games, even though I only had 1 hit. Ever. True story. Thank you for introducing me to the Red Sox and teaching me how great Jim Rice was, even if the way that is better. Thank you for helping me make my Pinewood Derby car for Cub Scouts. Thank you for helping me salvage giant refrigerator boxes to practice my breakdancing. For bringing me to the breakdancing contest at the mall in 5th grade when we won a boombox the size of a horse. Thank you for helping me on my paper route when it was raining, snowing, or if I was just a lazy teenager who didn't get his butt out of bed. Thank you for coming to every race I ever ran. A big thank you for showing me the love of hiking, camping, and being outdoors. It's become one of my favorite places, and even more now. Now I have something to look at when I sleep under the stars and I gaze into the sky. I've never had a deep faith, but I'm starting to realize maybe it's just because my angel was never up in heaven, watching over me like he is now. Thank you. Painful as a Patriots fan, but again,